Hi, hello, long time no see. Today we're going to be doing my rolls for TBROPOLY and also for Becca's Bookoplathon. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I know that I have released one video in the month of August. Some crazy things happened in my life. I'm not gone, but I'm kind of dealing with some things. Mostly good, but a lot of the good led to some bad. I don't want to get into a ton of details about it here, but I will definitely be talking about it in a future video coming out shortly. What else? I am currently coming down from a 2-day migraine. I'm doing good right now, but I've been in a lot of pain the past 2 days, like a lot of pain. And so I have no makeup on. My hair is pulled back into a quite messy bun, and we're rocking the glasses today. Today we're going to be doing TBROPOLY and Becca's Bookoplathon. So how it's gonna work is I have this really cute small little board. It goes on top of my other board. You'll see it in like 2 seconds. And I will roll, and each time I roll, I will move both pieces on each board. So each roll that I have will actually give me 2 prompts. It'll give me a prompt from my board that I play every single month, and it'll give me a prompt from Becca's board. I will be rolling 6 rolls like normal, unless I get doubles, and so that I don't end up with 12 books that I need to read, since I'm coming off of a really busy time, and right now finding time to read is a little bit of a struggle. We're all about being nice to ourselves, all of that. I can't duplicate books like on one board, but if I put a book onto my board, I can use it for a different prompt on Becca's board, and they don't have to be like rolled together to be used. Hopefully that means I can make it work so that I only have 6 books. The final thing I'm going to say is I will not be pulling a book for Big Book Week this month, September. August I didn't do it. Well, I pulled the book in August. I didn't do Big Book Week because I didn't do any videos on my channel, and I won't be doing one in September because I'm just going to need a little bit of a slow comeback into my channel. So no pulling, but I am absolutely confident that there will be some big books on this list. So before you guys go to the board and see what I rolled, let's talk about how last month went. These were the books that I had to read last month, plus some others, plus four other books, and I also had a non-reading prompt. I did not read City of Lies, but that is fine because this was pulled for Big Book Week, and that is totally acceptable for me not to read it in the month. Absolutely want to get to this though very soon. I also did not end up reading She Who Rides the Storm because when I went to pick it up, I was not in the mood for it. So I did actually swap the prompt out, which was to read a heist book with a different book, which was A Taste of Gold and Iron, which was really interesting because the heist was not the foremost element. Like, our main characters don't do a heist, but they're investigating a heist. So that was really fun to swap up a heist book and be the person investigating a heist. But other than that, I did read everything else that was on my TBR, so I don't have to take a punishment this month. I'm sorry. I know I told you guys I'm coming off of a migraine. I can still really feel it in my head though, so this energy is not how I normally am, and I apologize, but I'm so excited about this TBR game that I just really wanted to film it and know what I'm gonna get to read in September. So apologies about the weirdness, but is that all I had to say? I can't remember anything else. If I think of it, I'll edit it in later. Okay, here's the board. Welcome to the board. And as you can see, we have my piece that I normally play with on my normal every monthly board. And then in the middle, we have the cute little Becca's Bookoplathon board with a new pin. This one is my K2SO pin that someone gave me back when Rogue One came out, and I love him so much. So he'll be playing Becca's Bookoplathon. And I want to point out just very quickly, because this could get very confusing, mostly for me, my board from here to here is a different amount on Becca's from here to here. So I believe this is 11 across and this is 10 across, which means that I will make it around this board much faster than I will make it around this board. Also, as you can see, I have no more 22 and 2022 cards. I was going to put my books that I'm most excited to read for the rest of this year, so basically my anticipated releases, whatever. For this month, I am just going to, if I get 22 and 2022, I am going to alternate between picking Chance and Community Shelf cards. So I'll start with Community Shelf and then I'll go to Chance if I get a second one. Without further ado, let's get started. Also, doubles still count for both of them, of course. So we have 11. So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's odd. So we got black cover. And for 11 here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 published or set before 1999. So first up, we got black cover and book from before 1999. So for black cover, I am going to be reading Ordinary Monsters. I don't remember who this is by. It came out rather recently. What is this book about? I don't remember. I saw a bunch of people reading it. I saw how thick and chunky she was. And I remember at one point reading the summary and being like, that sounds good. Goodreads says that it's 672 pages. I will be listening to the audiobook though. So it says, in Victorian London, 2 children with mysterious powers are hunted by a figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. 16-year-old Charlie Ovid, despite a lifetime of brutality, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself, whether he wants to or not. And Marla, foundling from a railway freight car, shines with a strange bluish light. I'm not going to keep going. I don't care what the plot is. That sounds fun and exciting, and I'm excited to read it. Also, I just now realized that this book takes place before 1882. That's when it takes place, which means that it takes place before 1999, which solves a problem I was just about to tell you all, which was I don't have a book on my TBR that is, like, in my physical TBR, which I'm trying to read as much from as I can, that was written before 1999. I have one that was written in 1999, which was Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, and that is way too thick to be read this month when I'm also going to be reading a lot of other thick books. So I was going to re-roll for 1999. I played the whole board through and didn't think about it, and then I was going to come to you right now and re-roll it. But Becca did say that the setting of the book could be before those years, which means that Ordinary Monsters will fit this prompt as well. Second roll, let's see what we've got. Another 11. That's funky. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 22 set in 2022, so we know what that means. But first, let's do one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because I was starting to think this might happen. I have to pull one of these and one of these. Okay, so for my board, we get to read, if you can't read that, it says The Atlas Paradox. And for Becca's board, we get to do Newest Purchase. For my board, we got 22 in 2022, which means that we pulled a shelf. What are these called? Community shelf? Guys, I am literally so dumb. I literally just looked at books that I was excited to read this year. The Atlas Paradox doesn't come out until October. I freaking can't read it for my September TBR. Like, I put it on this slot and then I used it again later. So I found a book that'll work for both of those. Oh my God. It's like days later now that I'm like editing this and realizing it. So I can't like go back and like change things. But one of my books that was on my 22 in 2022 list that is out and will work for this prompt is going to be The City of Dusk. I've been dying to read this. I've read like the first 2 or 3 chapters and I really enjoyed it, so it'll work perfectly for this prompt, and it'll work for the other prompt I use the Atlas Paradox for. So I cannot believe how dumb I was in this video. There are 4 realms: life, death, light, and darkness, and they all converge in the City of Dusks, but the gods have withdrawn their favor, and we are following a few different characters in that city, kind of following the aftermath. From what I remember of this city, from what I remember of the first few chapters, there is BIPOC representation and there is LGBTQ plus representation, but I'll have to tell you guys more about that once I start it. For Becca's role, I got a chance card, which was really fun, and for that I got my newest purchase. For my newest purchase, I did recently have like a cute little book buying spree. Oh no. I was about to say I had a cute little book buying spree and I bought a couple of books all at once, and the book I was going to read was going to be this one because reasons. Anyways, but I just realized that I technically bought a used book online and it's downstairs and I haven't unboxed it yet, but I technically had already owned that book because I owned the audiobook for it and I just saw like a really good deal for the paperback online. So I'm not going to count it as my most recent purchase because I already owned it. And so even though I bought a different edition and I did technically purchase it, I don't want to read it right now. I want to read this. So I have actually already started The Art of Prophecy. I am 60 pages in and I am loving it. I'm loving it so much, but I'm not able to read it right now because I had to put it down so that I could start my book club's pick for August, which I still haven't finished. And even after I finish that, there's one more August book I need to read before the month ends for Magical Readathon. So I won't get to this until September, and I'm so excited to get back to it. The Art of Prophecy is about a few different POVs. Where I'm at, I've only run into 3 of them, but I think there's 4 or 5. And we're following this woman who used to be this amazing soldier, and she has found the chosen one in this realm. And when she runs into him, she's supposed to like judge how well of a fighter he is, and finds out that he is not where he needs to be the savior of the land. And so she decides to train him, even though she thought her like fighting days were way behind her. And then it's also about this chosen one who, from the blurb, you know that he's not actually the chosen one, that something went wrong with the prophecy. And it's about this like looming war in the distance. It's also an Asian inspired fantasy written by an Asian author, and I'm really loving it. Like, I'm getting 5-star vibes from it from the first 60 pages, and I cannot wait to go back to it and pick it up and like just keep going with it. Okay, roll number 3 better not be another 11. I say that and it'll probably be a double now. It's another 11. Okay, we're gonna keep that, but hold up. Okay, we're keeping the 11. I just wanted to make sure my dice weren't broken. Okay, so 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Arc. Pretty simple. And then for this bad boy, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Community shelf. There's only 2. I don't really remember the order they were in, so we'll just do this one. And I got Scorpica. Nice. For Arc, I'm so psyched about this, my dudes. I'm so psyched about this. I just got the arc. Who's the publisher? Who is the publisher? I just got the arc from Tor for Ocean's Echo, which is the sequel to Winter's Orbit, which is one of my favorite books I've read this year. And I'm so excited for Ocean's Echo because it sounds like a million times better than Winter's Orbit. The plot is that we're following this young woman. Okay, so we're interrupting one more time. I originally read the summary on Goodreads a few months ago when I read Winter's Orbit, and originally the summary on Goodreads used she and he pronouns for the 2 characters, and I was very confused. I mentioned it later in this video that like I didn't understand where the LGBTQ plus representation was coming from. I just now reread it and it's now using they and he pronouns. I'm going to apologize for that. I definitely got one of the characters' pronouns wrong, but I know 100% that I read she at one point. I'm a little bit confused, I'm not gonna lie, because the book is described as LGBTQ plus, but the relationship in the book is definitely heterosexual passing. So I'll have to see what the representation is when I get into the book. But we're following this woman who has the ability to read minds, and this people want to kill them off, so they send this fighter to kill her. And when the fighter meets her, he decides that she shouldn't be killed, and he protects her and keeps her safe. And it's kind of like an enemies to lovers, and I think they're gonna have to do an arranged marriage to keep her safe. It really does sound like Psyche and Eros's story a little bit. I trust this author so much. I trust her with my life, to be completely honest. For Becca's board, we got another community shelf, and for this we got Scorpica, which is a book I have been wanting to read for a really long time and just haven't been able to pick up, which is why I put it on this list. It's basically the book that was like next on my TBR that I wanted to read when I was next able to pick what I got to read. So this is Scorpica. I love the cover. I think it's so gorgeous. And this is about a queendom where one day women stop being born and the queen has to kind of investigate and figure out what's going on. It's a high epic fantasy. I think it's kind of between YA and adult. I'm not totally sure where it falls. I'm so excited to be reading this one. Okay, roll number 4. If it's 11, we re-roll because I'm tired of 11s. It's 10. Here comes the double. I knew it was coming. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is even, so we have ourselves book I need to read. Probably be my book club pick. And then 10 over here, just gonna move that real quick, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Book under 300 pages. So next up we got book I need to read. And I was gonna do a little bit with you all and pretend that I was gonna pick my book club's pick, but I'll let you know now. Later I do roll and get a tile for book club. So I can't put my book club's pick for this slot. And one other book that I absolutely need to read this month is one of my buddy reads, and that is going to be The Shadow of Self, which is a reread for me, but I am preparing for The Lost Metal to come out in November. So each month I am just going to be reading one of the Era 2 books until The Lost Metal is out. Now I am on The Shadow of Self, which is by Brandon Sanderson. It's Mistborn Era 2. It's the second book in Era 2, so it's like, what is that, 5th book in all of Mistborn. We are following Wax and Wayne. There's more investigations going on. I won't talk necessarily about what they're investigating in this book, but it is kind of like an Industrial Revolution fantasy. It's kind of like Industrial Revolution meets Wild West, and you still have the same metal magic that you have in Era 1 of Mistborn. It's just a very different setting, and Wax and Wayne are two detectives, police officer, ex-cop kind of things, and they are investigating crimes that are happening, and it's quite enjoyable. Not as good. How do I say this? I don't think they're as good quality as Era 1, but I think they're more fun than Era 1. Now for Becca's board, I had to pick a book that was under 300 pages, and for this I'm going to be reading the novella by Stephen King called The Body. So this is the book that Stand By Me was loosely based upon. I really love that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time and I really need to rewatch it, but I absolutely am obsessed with Wesley Crusher. I can't think of what the actor's name is right now. Oh my god, what is his name? Anyways, while I can't think of his name, he's in the movie Stand By Me when he's like a little kid, which is so much fun. He won't have anything to do with the book The Body by Stephen King, but basically I think it's 4 boys go on this quest, and at the end of the quest they find this body. And that's all I know from what I remember of the movie itself, so I'm sure the book is going to be a little bit different. But if you know anything about me, one of the things I really enjoy when I read horror is that the horror takes place or is from the perspective of a child. And I love seeing like friend groups of children go through horrific events. So I think this one will be right up my alley, and I think I'm gonna really, really enjoy it. Okay, we're looking at our 5th roll, right? Yeah. And we have a 5. That didn't move. Okay, good. We're good there. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Odd. And we have BIPOC main character. And then if we do a 5 over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is pattern or text. So the cover has to be majority pattern or text on it. For BIPOC main author, I am going to be putting in The Art of Prophecy, which is really easy because I've already told you about this and I'm so excited to read it. And then for pattern or text, being the main element on the cover. I'm actually going to put in the Atlas Paradox. So I've also already told you about that one. We don't have to talk anymore about this roll. 6th roll. Let's see what we've got. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My pick. I got that last month and I hadn't gotten it before, and I said, please, dear Lord, let this come up again. I'm gonna use it to my advantage with all of these over here things that I can't choose. Anyways, 7 on this board. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Summer vibes. For the next one, I got my pick on my board, and for that I am going to be reading Scorpica, which we've already talked about. This would have been the book I picked for my pick regardless of anything else happening. Like, even if I hadn't played Becca's Bookoplathon, even if I hadn't fit it like anywhere, like this would have been the book I picked originally anyways. And then for summery vibes, I am going to pick the book Finley Donovan is Killing It, which is a cozy murder mystery about this woman named Finley Donovan, who is an author trying to, I believe, get her first book published, which is like a murder mystery, and someone overhears her conversation with her publisher and thinks that she's a hit woman and hires her to kill someone else. Mostly what I've heard is it is a fun, funny, enjoyable, like, oh my god, how did Finley get herself into this situation kind of a thing. So I'm really excited to be trying it, and I feel like that whole entire like cozy funniness really does fit that summery vibes. Plus the front cover has a lot of pinks on it, so it'll be perfect. I will be reading the physical book. I will not be reading my copy of the physical book. My friend and I are swapping some books right now, which is really fun that we have both annotated. So I will be annotating her copy, which she has already annotated, and she'll be annotating some books that I have already annotated. And it's just, I'm really excited to like see that like come to conclusion. Okay, we've got 7th and possibly last roll. It is the last roll. We've got a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We landed on book club. 4 down here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Favorite genre, fantasy. For the final roll for my board, we got book club, and my book club's pick for the month of September is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I'm a little bit nervous to pick this one up. I'm not gonna lie. I really loved The Poppy War. I read it twice in 1 year because I was so invested. And then I DNF'd The Dragon Republic. I've always wanted to go back and give it another try, but I feel like if I were to, I would have to reread The Poppy War again. And I just don't know if I have it in me to do that right now. So maybe one day. To have a book that I rated 5 stars after reading it and then rereading it back to back, and then having another book that I DNF'd by this author makes me hesitant to pick up another one by her. But my book club really wants to read it, and I am curious enough to read Babel. So that's what I'll be picking up. My edition has not arrived yet. It is like the 26th as of me filming this. So a lot of people have already gotten their editions, but my edition was like a special one, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get here. Yes, I was very unsure of whether or not I wanted to read this book, and then I purchased a special edition online. Who is she? I know that it's a dark academia. I know that it's about this young boy who was taken from his culture. I cannot remember right now where his culture was, but non-Eurocentric culture, and brought to basically London, where he was educated and he was taught how magic in this world is kind of for white people, and how language and everything is taught to him one specific way, but as he grows and learns, he starts to realize that that's not how things actually are. I'm excited because all of those things sound really good to me. I am just nervous because it's so thick, and dark academia can tend to be about nothing a lot of times. The books like don't really have a plot, and so the characters really have to carry the story, and if R.F. Kuang pulls it off, then I'm gonna love it. Becca's Bookoplathon, we got my favorite genre, which is fantasy, as I said when we were at the board. So for this one, I am going to be reading The Shadow of Self, because absolutely Brandon Sanderson is one of the kings of fantasy, one of the gods of fantasy. Shadow of Self has to go in there. It doesn't have to go in there. Nothing has to happen. I don't have to do this, but I'm putting it in there. It fits, it sits. I've already told you what it's about, so we get to move on. So how many books am I going to be reading this month? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have 9 books for my board. I only have 2 to hold up for you all, so that's a little bit sad, but I have a decent, I think it's like 5 books that I'm going to be physically or e-reading, and then the rest are audiobooks, which makes me a little nervous because usually my limit for physical reading is like 4, so 5 will be pushing it. I'm also going to be traveling for the first 5 days of September. September is my birthday month. September 5th. Hello. Hi. Thank you for your birthday wishes. So I will be traveling for part of September for my birthday, and then I'll be traveling for part of September for a wedding. So that basically kicks out 2 weekends where I would normally get to read a lot. I'm going to be busy. And then also one of my college really good friends is moving to Florida in September. Actually this weekend right now while I'm filming this. So I plan on going and visiting her one weekend in September. So that just makes me a little nervous that I have 5 physical, pretty decent sized books to get through. And then I've lost 3 weekends already. And then on top of it, we haven't talked about my job and everything, but my hours have gotten really weird at work, which means I come home exhausted and I don't read after work anymore. At least for right now. I'm hoping that'll calm down a little bit. But to be completely honest, we're gonna go in and we're just gonna read as much as we can, and we're gonna chill out and we're gonna have a fun, grand old time. And if I don't get to all the books I've listed in this video, who the heck cares? I made up these rules. I'm gonna try my darndest, but I might not get to all of them. I'm gonna leave you before I kind of ramble on some more. Anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this video. I hope I can be releasing some more videos in September than I did in August. If you're new to my channel, please give me a like and consider subscribing. I read a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, and I'm guessing that if you made it to the end of this video, you've been around for a while, and I thank you especially, and I'm glad you're still here because August has been weird. I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!